everyone, I'm Lucy. I'm here with Onibi Studios as their marketing lead, and I'm here today actually with our two lovely composers for the trailer soundtrack that we've released.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Cécile Corbel, je suis musicienne, je joue de la harpe, je suis compositrice et aussi chanteuse.
Hi, I'm Simon Caby, and I'm a songwriter, composer and producer of most of the music that we created in the last 20 years.
Last 20 years, that is a long partnership.
That's about it, yeah.
I have a lot of questions for them about their partnership, but let's talk about the trailer first. We didn't have a lot of like inspiration subject matter for you. We're starting with very little as well, and so sent you some haikus, some inspiration notes, general thoughts on like the lore and progression of the trailer, but that's not a lot to work off of. So how did you go from there to a whole composition?
Mais vraiment, les haïkus, les poèmes et les dessins, ce sont les meilleures inspirations pour un musicien. Parce que quand on donne à un musicien des consignes de musique, c'est très frustrant. Alors que là, ça s'adresse directement à notre cœur de métier qui est transcrire des mots, des émotions de mots en musique. Et c'était parfait.
Usually what we like to do is translate these little pieces of poems, of graphics, so storyboards elements, character designs, some background, some colors sometimes. Just very simple stuff can actually mean a lot to us. So we don't need a lot of like description or artistic description and text explaining what you actually really wanted or anything. This can be very full of the seeds that we need to during the creation process. So that's usually the best thing we like to work with.
Right, sometimes it's like catching a mood or a vibe.
Exactly, yeah.
An impressionist painting more than it is like a hyper-realistic one. Okay, I see that. For this particular composition, I know composition is a different process almost for every piece that you work on, but I also know that every composer has their favorite go-to method. So for this particular work, how did you both approach? What did you start with? I know you often start with the harp. Was it the same this time?
Pour cette chanson-là, on n'a pas forcément commencé par la harpe. En fait, on a travaillé un peu en concurrence, tous les deux.
we saw this project more of a couple challenge. Like we wanted to challenge ourselves and see what the best of us can come up in this kind of challenge. But still, you have to be fair. Say, okay, this is really good. I'm not doing it, but still, it's really good.
Donc, je pense que, par exemple, le couplet n'est pas composé 100% par la même personne que celui qui a composé le refrain. Mais au final, je pense que c'est le meilleur de nos deux inspirations qui est apparu.
We can even split the verses like in different parts, and I'd be working on the first one and be criticized on the other one, and she has that input on the other part, and together we'd be the judge at the end of this creation process.
We often say that we are our own harshest critics, but it sounds like you two critique each other pretty harshly also.
Yeah, we learned to do it.
Yeah.
Through the years.
On n'est pas très souvent ensemble dans le studio, à vrai dire. On se relaie. C'est vraiment un relais où on incrémente chaque fois le travail de l'autre.
We don't like to work together, like being in the same room physically, like in the studio. We actually hate it somehow.
Okay.
But then we iterate on each other's work.
That's really cool.
Sometimes with the delete button. But this is how we do.
À vrai dire, toujours. Nous avons toujours travaillé comme ça.
Yeah, we always been doing this. Yeah. Well, maybe the only thing that changed in time is that we made things smoother. Like we don't yell a lot, less.
Oh, you used to yell a lot.
Probably.
You both compose with so many different influences from all over the world, from different time periods. It can be hard to take so many influences and still build something cohesive, like one voice out of it, a unique voice that belongs to you when you're borrowing and inspired by so many different cultures. So do you have like a secret to that? Is there a secret sauce that we should all know about?
Moi, j'ai une vision de cela qui est que la mélodie dépasse les frontières quoi qu'il arrive. C'est ce qui m'a surprise quand j'ai commencé ma carrière, c'est que j'ai pu beaucoup partager mes chansons à l'étranger très rapidement parce que les gens recevaient ma musique sans se préoccuper des paroles, mais la mélodie dépassait les barrières culturelles en fait.
Yeah, Cécile says that she always felt like her melodies had this ability of traveling the world and sound appealing to people from very different cultural backgrounds. Maybe the reason behind it is that Cécile started the music as a traditional harpist, or we say harpers actually.
Oh,
Celtic harpers. And probably all these very Celtic melodies, which are based on these 5 tone scales, travel better the world than the other more classical melodies. Whereas like in Asian countries, most of the most popular themes are based on these 5 notes.
Right.
So if you not only stick to it, but mainly base your phrasing around these 5 notes, you probably your melody might be more appealing to a wider audience throughout the globe. So that's probably one of the things we've been thinking of this last years, and we try to explain it ourselves too, but no, for sure.
So to make sure I'm understanding correctly, it's almost like you're finding the elements that are sort of naturally harmonious between the cultures that you're drawing inspiration from. So they already naturally have these overlaps, and then you emphasize and build on top of that commonality already.
Yeah,
Really
but again, this is mainly true for popular songs, popular melodies. Again, if you go through either culture, any culture, and you dig deeper into the more elaborate music and more classical music, then things tend to be much different. But if you look for the everyday people's music, then they tend to merge somehow.
It's like folk music and pop music are not that different, is what I mean.
No, exactly.
Et la folk musique américaine est vraiment directement inspirée de la musique traditionnelle irlandaise.
Yes, American songs, whether they're country music or any other genre of American music, is also really based on that Irish roots, Celtic roots, and so that made it also very appealing. I think it's maybe one of the reasons of this huge success of this American melody throughout the 20th century. So.
Mais c'est vrai que nous utilisons pas mal des instruments traditionnels dans notre travail à nous, à commencer par la harpe celtique, mais il faut savoir aussi qu'il y a des harpes, donc des sonorités qui ressemblent à la harpe celtique dans le monde entier.
For our music, we tend to use a lot of traditional instruments for percussions, for harps, for flutes or violin, or the way to play these instruments is traditional, even though the instrument itself is not very traditional.
La harpe.
And and the harp, which is sometimes the bass in our music, for Cécile's music especially, is also available in many other forms or shapes in all of the countries in the world. So even its sound itself can travel the world because it's one of the most ancient instruments in any culture.
Right.
So I think this is another reason why our music can travel the world better than some others.
You don't have to necessarily see these differences in cultures and inspirations as being different, right? They're actually fundamentally very similar and share a lot of characteristics.
There are lots of similarities,
so why not find those similarities and build on top of them? That makes a lot of sense. I love that. Yeah. All right. Well, with that, thank you so much for taking so much time to talk to us. I really appreciate it. And to our audience, if you haven't heard the trailer yet, you really should. It's good. And you can find it on Onyubi's YouTube channel. So thank you very much for watching, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
you.